Today we're smoking McBaron HH Acadian Perique. So that's that guy right there. This tin was produced in September of 2014. I opened it a month ago or so, maybe 2 months ago. And it's, so that makes it, what, 7.5 years old? Something like that? Almost 8 years old. On the back it says, this blend includes Virginia's Burley's original Cavendish. I'm not really sure what that means, original Cavendish. Darkfire Kentucky, Orientals, and of course a fair amount of Acadian Perique. The HH Acadian Perique has no top flavor at all, which means that you will only enjoy the tobacco taste. When smoked, you will experience no tongue bite, and this blend will smoke to the bottom, leaving only gray ashes. It is rich, flavorful, and very satisfying. What's interesting to me is for the amount of components that are in this blend, I would think that it would be a lot more complex. This blend isn't very complex. It's very straightforward, in my opinion. It actually seems to be a little bit like Elizabethan for me. Elizabethan, there wasn't a lot of sweetness in Elizabethan. It was more like just like the earthy, kind of woody notes. There wasn't a lot of like spice or sweet or like a lot of times in Virginia, a lot of times in Virginia Perique blends or Virginia blends, I'll get like a hint of like clove or like cinnamon. Elizabethan didn't have any of that, and Acadian Perique doesn't have any of that. I really like that stuff. I really like sort of when, you kind of get like little notes of like cloves or some sort of other like kind of a baking spice or cinnamon or something like that. And then you get like a little bit of like a bready note. Obviously the pepper note, I really like that nose tingle, but there's not, to me, there's not a lot going on here with Acadian Perique. And maybe part of it's like what I went into it like thinking, when I opened the tin, I thought, well, the Virginias are gonna be great, the Perique's gonna be good, the Orientals are gonna be at a nice, kind of spicy, sort of note, like, the Kentucky's gonna, carry some of that flavor, and that just hasn't been the case for me. It's a perfectly serviceable smoke. But I think this is one of those ones where I probably won't buy anymore. A lot of stuff I'm like, sort of, even if I'm in the not for me category, I'll still buy it. Like a tin here or there as like a change of pace, but I don't want to say I was let down, because I never had a bad smoke. I just never had like sort of the smoke that I look for in a mainly Virginia Perique blend with some Orientals in Kentucky. Like, it's not, maybe that's my fault, right? Like, maybe I went into it expecting something, and then that's not what I got, and now, I feel, betrayed in some way or something. I think the biggest surprise is I was expecting like a very sweet, fruity, um, not like sweet, like, you know, like with the topping sweet, but just like that sort of like, you know, fruity, bready sweetness you get from like good Virginias that have been been aging for almost 8 years. And that wasn't the case. This is, I feel like, it feels like to me the Kentucky's kind of take over. Um, I didn't read the back of the tin the first few times I smoked it, and I'm like, man, it's sort of barbecue smoky. It's not it's not campfire smoky. It's like barbecue smoky. You know, sometimes they talk about like smoked meats and stuff, and it's like that kind of. I hate to say salty, but it's kind of like salty and peppery, sort of like a smoked brisket is what it almost like. I'm not saying that this tastes like a smoked brisket. It's just like it's kind of like that essence. Hopefully, you guys understand what I mean, because when we say like, you know, it tastes like fruits or this or that, it's not like that it actually tastes like fruits. It's like those notes, those, you know, the all of your senses, sort of like the flavors and the smells, and, you know, those all, they come in like they produce like, you know, notes, and you have nothing to compare it to other than other stuff you've ate or smelled, or ate and smelled, you know, obviously. And you can only do all you can do is sort of compare. Like, it's kind of like this, right? So like Acadian Perique for me is kind of like, you know, reminds me of like smoked beef, like smoked brisket or beef ribs or something like that. It's like very substantial and very like thick and peppery, which I like the pepper part for sure from Acadian Perique. Um, you know, whereas like deluxe navy rolls for me is like, you know, like if someone was to make a, you know, like a plum bread or something like that, you know, like not like a banana bread, but like a sweet like baked bread, you know, with some clove and with some clove and like cinnamon notes and stuff like that, and that's, you know, those are kind of, that's kind of the flavors I'm looking for more in these types of blends. Um, but yeah, interesting stuff though. Um, I haven't had any problem smoking it. It's just sort of one of those ones where it's kind of like I'm never really like excited, like, oh, like I'm gonna go out and smoke the HH Acadian Perique. It's like, oh, I'm gonna go smoke it because I smoked, you know, 3 bowls of Escudo already or something like that. Oh, pipe today. This is a little Savinelli bent pot. This might be like I think it might be like my 4th or 5th pipe I ever bought. And I bought it specifically to smoke Virginias. And it's got a very large fill in it. But, you know, that's all right. I think when I bought this, it was like $40 or something like that. And it's been one of the best smokers. And I know there's people out there that say like, oh, you can only smoke Virginias in, you know, pipes that have a tobacco chamber of under 0.75 or whatever. I specifically bought this pipe, and it had, with no cake, all that kind of stuff, its tobacco chamber was like just under an inch. It was like 0.98 or something like that. And I bought it specifically to smoke Virginias, or to try Virginias in, because you always hear like, oh, you can only smoke this and that. And I don't know, that might have something to do with it, but I think a lot of it, you just have to listen to the pipe. There's certain pipes that I think just do better with, you know, certain types of tobacco, and sure, the tobacco chamber may help here and there, but it may give you a starting point. But I don't know if it's like a hard, fast rule, like anything in pipe smoking. No hard, fast rules in pipe smoking, like philosophy. So the Las Vegas, was it, what are they calling it? The Las Vegas International Pipe Show instead of the West Coast Pipe Show. It is apparently confirmed and on, and you can, you know, get your hotels and book your tickets and all that kind of stuff. Or I don't know if you can buy tickets right now, but I think you can book your hotel. And like I said in another video, I have every intention of going. I really want to go. I really want to make it. It sounds like a really great time, and it sounds like a really great thing to do. So hopefully in the next month or two, or in the next month or so, I'll be able to book my hotel. Um, I've never gone to a pipe show. I've been smoking a pipe since 2005, and I've never been to a pipe show. So I think it's going to be great. I really, really hope that I can work it out and make it to, you know, to go. It's already on the calendar, so there shouldn't be anything standing in the way unless, you know, something crazy happens. I'm really excited to see all the pipes. There's some pipe makers that probably aren't going that I would love to see them and talk to them in person. And there's I think, I don't know if I'm more excited about the pipes or the tobacco. I hope there's a lot of like cool like old tobaccos. I'd love to get my hands on a couple tins of McCraney's Red Ribbon. I've never I've never actually tried that tobacco. That was, you know, sometimes you get this thing where it's like, oh, I'll get it next time. I'll get it next time. You know, I'll get it next time. And like, you know, we found out with like McClellan and McCraney's and this and that's like, one day there just isn't a next time. So I missed out on that. I'd like to get a couple tins of it. I'd like to get you know, if I could get two, depending on price. You know, if I could get two, that'd be great. I'd love to smoke one and then just keep one for like maybe when my daughter graduates high school or gets married or something like, or just keep it forever. I don't know. There's a couple other things I wouldn't mind trying to find. The original Balkan Sobrani, obviously, I've never smoked the original Balkan Sobrani. I would love to smoke a tin of that. I think when I first learned that Balkan Sobrani was a thing, a couple years after I started smoking a pipe, you know, you could find them online for, you know, I think they were like, you know, $40, $50, 60, you know, maybe 80 on the high end. I don't know what they are now, but I think the last time I looked, like I found one, it was like, you know, hundreds of dollars. I think it was like $200 or something. So that's kind of crazy. I don't know if I'll ever be able to make that happen, but I don't know. That's, you know, you're halfway to a really nice artisan pipe at 200. Or you're right there at like a Neil Monnier, you know, garage made pipe. I mean, I think his stuff is right around 200, so it's a little hard to spend that on a 1 tin of tobacco, but you never know. We'll see. So to wrap up Acadian Perique, I think you guys probably already know what I'm going to say. It's not for me. Probably not going to buy another tin. And, you know, I'll just move on. The great thing about doing these videos is if I ever have a question about a tobacco that I smoked, and I go, I don't remember if I like that or not. Like in 5 years, 10 years, I don't remember if I liked Acadian Perique or not. I can go back to this video. Hopefully YouTube leaves the videos up. I go back to this video and say, oh yeah, that's right, I didn't like it very much. So that'll be interesting to see. And we'll see about that. But I think if you like I think if you like Elizabethan mixture, I think you should give it a try, because to me they're very similar in that they have this, you know, they're not obviously the same, but they're very similar in that to me they have like the same kind of notes, like the same kind of earthy, meaty, a little bit less so with Elizabethan because it doesn't have the Kentucky and the Oriental, but like that earthy, meaty. If you're like, I would say this is like a little bit punchier version than Elizabethan. It's like a little bit stronger, a little bit fuller flavor. So if you like Elizabethan and you want to experiment with that, give it a shot. You know, hopefully that's good advice. But I think that's pretty much it for this video. Hopefully getting a couple boxes in the mail here pretty soon, in the next day or two. No pipes this time, it'll just be tobacco, so when those come, we'll do a tobacco opening, or a box opening tobacco haul. Y'all can see what I scored. Until then, adios.